All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. And for those of you who live in the United States, happy Memorial Day 2023. I am Darkside Phil, and I welcome you to the show, the Level 1 Podcast. Uh-oh. I forgot something. No. Oh, no. Hold on. Cool. How's it going? I hope you're all doing well. And I hope that you all are having a good day. If you do live in the United States, today is a national holiday. Although it's kind of weird when we have these national holidays because some people have it off of work and some people still have to work. And it's kind of confusing. If you really work for a bank or a government job, you're off today. Outside of that, everybody else is just a normal day. But welcome. Some good stuff going on as we continue on with the full court press to finish up games this week before I head into the big release of Street Fighter 6, the possible playthrough of Diablo 4, and more fun stuff coming up here in the month of June. And so I hope that I find you all in good spirits. First of all, today's Memorial Day in the United States, and for those who don't know, this is the day that we... Something going on behind me. I guess I missed it. Today's the day when we honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and fallen in combat to defend our country. Very oftentimes we forget that it is because of our military and armed forces that we are able to have all the freedoms that we have in this country. Tons of people take all of that stuff for granted, and that's sad. It's sad that people don't actually realize what it is that makes all of this possible. The fact that I can sit here every day and broadcast to a worldwide audience, have fun interactions, enjoy gaming, and essentially be who I am is because of the sacrifices of those who protect this country. And I very much appreciate that, and I hope that if you live in the United States, you do too. Please take a moment today in honor of those who we have lost in the course of duty. Okay? So that's the meaning behind the day. However, in this very commercialized world and very commercialized country, of course we find a way to turn it into a way to make money, right? So today is essentially a big commercial day where all the stores have sales. It's also a day when everyone gets together with friends and family, drinks a bunch of booze, and cooks out. That's really how Memorial Day is celebrated in the United States. But also, I used to have some other things that I would do around Memorial Day weekend. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll actually have a little Memorial Day segment of how I used to celebrate this holiday with my family, but then later on as I became an adult, how I actually used to travel to play competitive Street Fighter, okay? So some stories today on the podcast, which should be nice and timely, right? Outside of that, I'll also talk a little bit about an update on all my games that I'm playing right now and what's happening with all of them, because we had some major developments, which I'm happy to report that things are going well. As we got 2 final days, well, actually it's 3 final days to work on games before Street Fighter 6 comes out on Friday, because Wednesday is my day off, so it's technically 3 streaming days left. So we'll talk about that a bit, all right? And I certainly hope that you're all having a good, well, had a good weekend. And coming into this new week, I know many of you will be hyped and excited. What I'm actually waiting for, something that no one's really talking about right now, is I want to hear the reviews of Street Fighter 6, and notably what I really want to hear is the review of the single-player World Tour mode. And here's why I'm interested about this. All right? We know about the World Tour mode and what it is. We know that it's completely separate from the competitive mode, and it's a first-time thing for Street Fighter. It's never done anything like this before. What we don't know about the World Tour mode is essentially how long it is. All right? We don't know. We don't know how long the mode will be. And because of that, it's kind of like a little confusing, I would even say. Because if this mode, World Tour mode, okay, let me summarize what it is. You create your own character. This character enters the world of Street Fighter, and essentially you go through a series of maps and worlds, fighting characters in the streets, okay? And each fight is kind of a little, like a little side challenge. It plays more, I would say, like Final Fight than it does Street Fighter, where it's kind of a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up. Although you can use Street Fighter moves and the like, seems more like just a button mashing combat. And as you win these fights in the streets, you gain experience and currency. You can use that to level up your character, to buy items and upgrades and healing items for your character as well. And then there's going to be big boss fights against the major characters in the Street Fighter universe, as well as mini bosses. And as you do this, your character levels up, and you can actually equip movesets to your character to change the way that they play. So, for example, if you're fighting Honda and you beat him, you could earn the sumo headbutt, and now you actually have that move on your character for further play of the game. Now, this is an interesting premise. Apparently, there's even a story tied to it and everything. They've never done anything like this in Street Fighter before. So, it's fun because not only are you going to get all of that content that you normally get with a Street Fighter game, all these characters, the awesome gameplay mechanics, the training mode, take them online and all that, but you're also going to get a very interesting single-player mode. But the real question behind all of it, how long is it and how good is it? Because there's probably people out there who don't give two craps about competitive Street Fighter. But if this game actually has an interesting single-player mode that has value, maybe we'll even have more people buying the game. I'll give you an example. My wife is one. My wife has seen the game, thinks it looks good, but has no desire to play this game competitively. But if the single-player mode is like 20 or 30 hours long, and she'll get a lot of content out of it, she's considering buying Street Fighter 6. So, it looks like it's kind of a hybrid between like the Yakuza franchise and Final Fight, and that's kind of neat. So, that's why I'm kind of waiting for reviews. Like, when will the reviews actually hit this week? If the game comes out Friday, well, see, it's funny because some people say, well, actually it comes out Thursday. Well, no, it doesn't. It comes out midnight Thursday, so it's kind of Thursday into Friday, right? But anyway, I'm very interested to see what the reviewers will say, because this might actually get the game to sell a little more if they say, oh yeah, by the way, the story mode's like, 20, 30 hours long. It's great, really fun to do. Or they could just say, it's like a 5-hour throwaway mode. It's not a big deal. You'll mash buttons through it, and you'll be done with it sooner rather than later. Most people will never do it. That's kind of an interesting thing, so that's what I'm trying to find out, all right? So that being said, yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for information. I hope that there will be information soon. I know that these outlets already have the game. And the funny part is, when you're reviewing a fighting game, you can't really review it before it's out. It's impossible. Because a fighting game's meta, meaning the big picture gameplay of competition, will not be discovered for weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's characters in the game no one's even used yet. So until people get their hands on this game and they all start playing it online and whatever, there's absolutely no way you'll even have a balance or know anything about the competitive nature of the game. It doesn't matter if news outlets and game media had this game 2 weeks early. No one's going to know jack, all right? It's going to wait for that. But what they can review is things like the single-player mode. Like, that's actually what I'm more interested in. So, I'm very excited for it. I'm playing it starting Friday and doing full coverage of the game. However, I want to know about the single-player mode and eventually what it is, okay? Billy J says, apparently Street Fighter 6's main trophy list is all online-based for the Platinum. The single-player stuff is tacked on like DLC trophies. I have no idea what that means. I really have no clue. Right? Anyway. So, once I hear more information about this and the reviews hit, I'll be talking about it here on the show. Obviously, I'm excited to share this information with you. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay. Anyway, so I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited for Street Fighter 6. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week before we get to Street Fighter 6. Okay. By the way, once again, someone was saying it comes out on. No, it does not come out on Thursday. Even online, there's online people counting it on social media saying it comes out on Friday. Why are you guys saying that Street Fighter 6 comes out on Thursday? I don't know. It's a Friday release. It's Friday, June 2nd. It's been Friday, June 2nd for months. So I don't know why we got multiple people in the chat saying, no, it comes out on Thursday. What are you speaking of? Do you have any evidence of this? What are you speaking of? I have no idea. If you have evidence, go ahead, present it. But all I know is what it says online. Okay? Anyway. All right, guys. So, I'm excited. And let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week so you guys know what's going on. So, first of all, yesterday, we had a full-on catch-up day of gameplay. And what I mean by that is we are in the big push to finish Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And at the same time, we are also pushing to make great progress in Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster. Both games are great, by the way. And, you know, the shortcomings of Jedi Survivor, like the really bad graphics, aren't as bad when you kind of balance this with other things. And what I mean by that is definitely the world design. The story now is picking up in a humongous way. I like the combat. Now I've got all these better high-level combat abilities. I'm having a great time with it. The problem is the graphics are still choppy as crap, and it really brings the game down. It's a shame, again, that it's an unpolished game. But I am definitely having a great time with the game now that we're heading into the end game, okay? So yesterday was 3 hours of progress. We finished up multiple major story plot lines, had a humongous, unexpected plot twist at the end of yesterday's stream, and we actually ended the stream in the middle of a cliffhanger segment of stuff that blindsided you. Like, whoa, I never thought this would be happening in the game, and it's going down, okay? So, I am excited to jump back into the game tonight, but that's where we are with the game now. And by the way, by people who have already beaten the game, they're saying if as long as I play it tonight for a couple hours and tomorrow, it looks like I will beat it. So we're on pace to finish Star Wars Jedi Survivor this week. And then last night, Final Fantasy VII Pixel Remaster. Wow, did we have a fun and productive stream. I completed not one, not two, but 3 major late game dungeons, including the second legendary dungeon, which I believe was called the Island Shrine. Then we went to the Fork Tower, which is a unique tower in the game where you have to split your party up. One half is all physical, one half is all magic, and you can't use the other because if you do, you instantly die, which is kind of interesting. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Sorry for the burps. And, yeah, so had a ton of fun with that last night. And then the final thing we did, which only took about 10-15 minutes, we went to the Underground Tower of Waltz, which originally in the game was one of the earlier towers you went to. But now in this third world, it's sunken under the ocean. You go under there, there's a timed dungeon, and at the end there is Go-Go the Mimic, which I had completely forgotten about how this boss fight goes down. It was really neat to do it. So last night, really fun, really exciting, great progress, chill stream, everything went well. All right? Overall, yesterday, not a bad day at all. So thank you all for a great day of progress in the games, okay? Let's talk about today. So today, the main stream here is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And this is good because I've been enjoying this game as well. The open world nature of it is neat. Although, admittedly, we've now done about 2 streams with pretty much no major story progress. It's more exploration-based. Although I did unlock some new abilities and stuff. Now it's time to start heading northeast on the map. And what we will do is hit up any shrines that we run into along the way. And hopefully get a few upgrades. I already have 1 earned. Like, I can either do a health or stamina upgrade. But if we do more shrines, maybe we get 2 or maybe 3 upgrades today, which would be great. And continue to, you know, get new equipment and everything. And then, as we head further northeast, there's 2 major story areas. And it's weird that they put both of them next to each other. I find that odd that 2 major story areas are sitting right near each other. But I guess we'll do them in order, how we approach them and how we encounter them. But we'll see. Today we may or may not get to a story area, but I at least want to head in that direction. Okay, I mean, we're almost 30 hours into this playthrough. You gotta hope for major story progress at least every third stream. You know what I mean? With a game like this, actually, I take it back, we're about 22 hours into the playthrough. But with a game like this, where it's just so huge and daunting, thank you, Switch209 Gaming. I read your message. Okay. But yeah, it could be daunting with the amount of content that's in it. So let's see where it goes today. I'm enjoying the chill vibes of the open world and the exploring. You guys have been helping me with that too, which is really nice. So let's see where the game takes us today, shall we? Okay. So that's Zelda on the first stream today. And then tonight on the late stream, yes, it's the continuation of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I am excited for. As I said, we are in the midst of an exciting, big plot twist area of the game. And without spoiling, I'm really excited to jump back in and make good progress tonight. Being that it's such an action-packed part, I don't know how long the segment will be, but I can't wait to see where this takes us because it is a completely unexpected turn at this point, okay? So that's tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is my final consecutive streaming day of the week, and that means that it's going to be the conclusion of Jedi Survivor as long as we stay on pace. I think we will beat it tomorrow on the main stream, and then tomorrow night will be more Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster as we continue on, probably this time going to the third major legendary dungeon, and continuing on from there. I'm off from streaming on Wednesday, okay? Thursday will be a full day of streaming. First stream will likely be Zelda, and second stream, more Final Fantasy. Only exception is if I don't finish Star Wars tomorrow, we can easily make another stream on Thursday, the conclusion stream of Star Wars. So no matter what, I am beating the game. The question is exactly when, and we don't know that until we actually, get further in. But definitely Star Wars will be completed this week, which is great. It's another playthrough that'll be completed before we get into the new stuff of June. All right? Yes, Friday begins my full-time coverage of Street Fighter 6. I'll be playing Street Fighter 6 all day Friday, all day Saturday, the night stream on Sunday, likely chunks of Monday, and we'll see how it is. If the game is great and you guys are enjoying the content, I will continue to cover it in a major way. If we play it for a few days and everyone's trying to get a little tired out, a little burnt out, and we want variety, then we can always bring back other games. So it really depends on how it's received, how I like it, how you like it. The thing is with a game like Street Fighter 6, it has a ton of content. Because the game has a large starting roster and every character plays differently, this is a significant amount of investment. Like, each character could take hours just to learn the basics. So, yeah, plus on top of that, it has a single-player mode. So the question really is, the question really is, what will happen with the single-player mode? Will it be time-consuming? Will it be interesting? Or will it be a dud? If it's a dud and I'm only playing on multiplayer, I almost feel like I will get burnt out a little bit faster. Even playing the beta. Remember when the betas, waves came out back in the fall? Playing the beta was fun, but after playing the beta for like 2-3 days straight, I was getting tired of the game. That's what happens with a fighting game. You can get exhausted if you play too much in a short period of time. So that being said, let's see what happens this weekend. I'm very excited. Now I have some announcements. All right, number one, we have some new things that'll be here on the streams, notably for the podcast. I have a few new podcast borders that are Street Fighter related that we'll be using to celebrate the launch of Street Fighter 6, and I'll start using those as early as this coming Thursday to celebrate the impending release of the game. In addition, as you know, every month I have a new setup behind me, and for the month of June, it's going to be heavily Street Fighter centric. I'm not saying the entire setup will be Street Fighter because it won't be. I don't have big pieces of Street Fighter art. However, I have some interesting ideas of things that are Street Fighter related that I will have in my background for the month of June, okay? Pretty neat stuff that I was thinking of, and I actually last night went into my closet looking through the stuff that we had gone through last year when I cleaned it out, and I was finding some significantly cool stuff, and I was like, oh, cool, I could put this, I could put this. It was really neat. I was like, oh, okay, this is excellent. So, definitely it'll be neat on Thursday when you guys come back for the new month, and you'll see the new setup. I hope you'll like it. And I'd like to keep that set up for the whole month, being that a major focus of the month will be Street Fighter. So, essentially, June will be a Street Fighter Mania-style event, which is cool. If you like Street Fighter, you're in the right place. If you hate Street Fighter, well, admittedly, probably the first week of June is going to drive you crazy, because I'm probably going to be playing a ton of it. After that, likely we will go back to more of a balance between Street Fighter and all the other games that I'm playing, so that way I don't get known as just the Street Fighter guy, and I don't sadly turn off people who aren't into fighting games. I know that My audience is very much a varied audience, people from all over the world, all walks of life, who like different games. It's not just about fighting games, as you know. I grew up playing competitive fighting games. It's a major part of who I am as a person and a gamer, but at the same time, it's definitely taken a backseat in the last 10 years. You know, when Street Fighter 4 came out, I covered that game in a huge way. Giant amounts of coverage, right? However, Street Fighter 5 I didn't like. So because of that, I didn't cover it that much. You know, I covered it at launch, and I went back to it every once in a while, and after about a year, year and a half, I never played it again, because I really detested that game. So I know for a fact that the vast majority of people who probably enjoyed watching me play fighting games, you know, over a decade ago, haven't been around. Now, I did for the longest time, for several years, do a weekly late night stream of old school Street Fighter. So I do know that there are some people who still like me watch me play the games, but it's not my mainstream audience. So for this next week coming up, might be very exciting for those who like the stuff, but then I will get back to other games as well for variety purposes, just so you guys know. All right. Now, all that sounds very exciting, doesn't it? I hope so. So, thank you. But there's still a few determining factors that we have to make. Notably, here's the biggest factor, all right? I have to decide, and it's a big decision. It really is. It's going to be a tough decision. Do I want to keep Zelda into the major game rotation for the month and keep it going and balance that with Street Fighter 6? Or do I want to play Diablo 4? Because if I play Diablo 4, there's just no way I can continue to play Zelda. There's too much RPG, too much time-consuming style content. I'm not going to be able to juggle that and Street Fighter. It's not possible. You understand? So, the question is Zelda going on hiatus so that we can play Diablo, right? Or do I just keep playing Zelda for now and then possibly play Diablo later? Jasper, which would you select? Zelda or Diablo, Jasper? Jasper, no, don't lay on my lap. I said Zelda or Diablo. Why didn't you answer me? He laid down on my lap. Jasper. Jasper Kitty. Every time I say that, he moves his tail, by the way. Jasper Kitty. There he goes. Whenever you say his name, he wiggles his tail around. Jasper Kitty. Zelda or Diablo? Which you like more? I don't think he knows. He doesn't know. And the thing is, my audience is definitely split. I know. Every day when I ask you guys this question, some people are like, no, we really like the Zelda playthrough. It's been going well. We're enjoying the chill vibes, the open world exploration. We like helping you with the game so you understand it. And the better parts are coming. You know, when I get to these new dungeons and things coming up, I absolutely am going to love the game. Keep playing it, right? And then, some people are like, no, you know, Diablo is going to be great. Diablo is the first time, you know, in over a decade that it's a you know, part of this franchise. Now you're an interactive streamer, therefore Diablo would work. Unlike last time when you played Diablo 3, where you were just playing games offline and you know, not even direct capture or live streaming. Now you're an interactive live streamer. It would definitely work as a playthrough. You should play Diablo. So there's differences of opinion, Jasper, and no one can decide what to do. No one can decide. Even me, I don't know what to do. Look, everyone has a different opinion. Look at this. Some people are saying Diablo will be a game changer. Diablo will put butts in seats. And then Jade says, no, Zelda. And quite a few people have said Zelda is the one that they want to see me keep playing because they've really enjoyed the playthrough up to now. You know, I'll be honest, out of the games I'm playing right now, actually Zelda is bringing the most attendance. It's true. When I play Zelda, we're getting the most people on stream for Zelda. So it definitely right now is a crowd pleaser, but I don't know if it would continue to crowd please when other games are coming out. Because here's my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. And you guys can disagree. Let's see what you have to say. If I continue to play Zelda with Street Fighter, we'll just keep it going. Like I said, Street Fighter will be a major focus for several days, and then we'll tone down Street Fighter and we'll more balance Zelda with it. We'll finish Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster and go that route, okay? And then we won't have to worry about anything else until later in the month when we got Final Fantasy 16 coming out. Now, it is true that their new Amnesia game is coming out. I get the feeling the new Amnesia game no one's going to be talking about. It's going to be completely eclipsed by all these other higher profile games. It's a shame it got delayed the way it did. I am interested in it, but I don't see how I can even fit it in with all the other stuff I'm going to be doing. I'm just being honest. Maybe we'll save it for later on, maybe in the summer, okay? Plus, keep in mind, there's also a bunch of digital events coming up. On June 8th, there's the Summer Game Fest event. On June 11th, there's the Xbox Starfield event. So already we have major streams that are going to be me reacting to that stuff that's going to take away from gameplay. So how in the holy heck am I going to be fitting in another game? It doesn't make sense, right? So, if I keep playing Zelda, and I keep it in the rotation, we'll keep going, and, you know, we'll see how long it takes, because Zelda's an insanely long game. Everyone says like 100+ hours, right? So, we'll keep it going. But, if I play Diablo and I put Zelda on hiatus, I'm just going to be honest with all of you. I don't think Zelda's going to continue. I feel like you guys are going to be like, once you put it on hiatus, don't keep playing it. Seriously, because the kind of game Zelda is, right? I feel like if I start playing something different, by the time we get time to go back to it, because I'm not playing Diablo and Zelda at the same time. That's crazy. That would never work, in my opinion, all right? You got to do one or to do the other. But if I play Diablo, I don't see myself eventually going back to Zelda. I know how you guys are. You know, I do. I know how you guys are. That if I'm not playing a game when it's hot, when it's new, basically I might as well not even play it, right? Take a look at other playthroughs where similar things have happened. Like Dying Light 2, where we played 20 hours to get to what was essentially the real game, and then it had to go on hiatus for other big releases. And by the time that those releases were done in about a month and a half, people were like, we don't give two shits about Dying Light 2, as if it never existed, right? So, that's the thing. Like, I am down for whatever. If you really like Zelda, and you want Zelda to continue, and think I should hold off on Diablo and play Diablo at a later date, like maybe later in the summer, I'm okay with that. If you think that I absolutely should play Diablo 4 this, you know, coming week into next week, and if that's the focus, and you think that I should put Zelda on hiatus, I'm okay with that too. Like, I'm seriously okay with either. I like Zelda right now. I'm not in love with Zelda like a lot of people, but I do like the game a lot, and I'm okay with playing it. I'm enjoying it. But if you really want to see Diablo, I'm okay with that too. So we really need to make a determining decision. And we've got about a week to determine that, right? We do. About a week's time until Diablo 4 comes out. And, oh man. There's the one thing. Seriously, here's the one thing that's in the back of my mind. I played Diablo 3. When I played Diablo 3, yes, the climate was very different. I was a different kind of gamer, type of gamer over a decade ago. That's for sure. I was an on-demand, non-live stream, non-direct capture, non-interactive content creator. Essentially, I would play a game, record it offline, upload to YouTube. That was it, right? And that kind of playthrough worked with certain games and didn't work with others. With a game like Diablo 3, there just wasn't a lot to commentate on. There's a lot of repetitive gameplay and the like. Not much to say. I played through the whole game, but basically a lot of people got bored with it and said the playthrough wasn't that good and didn't get a lot of attention. I remember it technically flopped at the time. It actually ended up starting strong, and within like a few sessions, no one really cared about it. And a lot of people actually complained that I continued to play the game, even though I definitely wanted to finish it. Now, Diablo 4. A lot of people are saying this game is a throwback to the roots of the franchise and got rid of a lot of the things that changed in Diablo 3. And now I am an interactive live streamer. So every day that I play Diablo, we'll be talking, we'll be chilling, we'll be having fun conversation, you'll be helping me with the game. It's going to be nice and social. That's very different from the old vibes that I used to have in the old style of content. I don't have to fill every moment of dead air with stupid jokes and commentary anymore. We can just enjoy the games for what they are, you see? So it may work better today playing a game like that. I've said this comparison. A game like Hades that I played 2 years ago. If it was old Phil playing Hades, that playthrough would have failed miserably and everyone would have said it was terrible. But with new Phil and the way that I do this interactive streaming, boy, Hades was an amazing playthrough. A lot of people say it was one of my best in years. And I absolutely loved the game. So I kind of compare it to that. Perhaps Diablo 4 absolutely would work. I don't know. But that's what kind of has me kind of iffy about it. I've already played a Diablo game. Didn't work back then. Is it going to be another one of those situations where people are like, well, the game's fun to play, but not necessarily fun to watch you play. It's kind of boring and repetitive. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I guess we'll find out. But we need to make this decision. So it's this simple. We have about a week left to decide. Do I keep Zelda in the rotation and keep it going, and therefore the Zelda playthrough continues and balances with Street Fighter 6 and other things during the month of June until Final Fantasy comes out? Or do we put Zelda on hiatus? Do we start with Diablo 4, and then it's Diablo 4 and Street Fighter 6, and then until Final Fantasy comes out, essentially, and that's the next new game. So what's the decision? We have to think about this. We have to talk about it. We have to determine it and figure it out. It's not an easy decision, because either way, one game's going to get ignored. I am nervous that if we put Zelda on hiatus, Zelda ain't coming back. That people will forget about Zelda, not care about it. Especially here, I hate to say it, I like first-party Nintendo games. I always have. Zelda, Mario, Kirby, Metroid, Donkey Kong. I can keep going on. Pokemon, all their exclusive franchises. I love those games. I love playing them. They just don't get a lot of traction on my channel. There was a time, many, many, many years ago, sometimes they would, but for the last decade, typically when I play Nintendo stuff, it doesn't get a lot of attention. Reason being, there's people out there who are known for covering Nintendo stuff. They literally have been sitting here playing Zelda for a month. I don't. I'm a variety guy. I balance things with everything else. So my Zelda playthrough is only 20 some hours long, while theirs is like 120 hours long or longer, right? So, I get it. I do. But at the same time, will Diablo do well? That I don't know. We might say, okay, forget Zelda, let's start Diablo, and then Diablo does poorly, people don't like it, and they're bored with it. So, I don't know. This is one of those situations where it's like, I'm good because I know Street Fighter 6 will hopefully give us enough variety and a ton of content so that I have stuff to do. But at the same time, I really don't know what else to do to balance with it. I don't think there's a good answer. I really don't. I really don't believe that there's a good answer to this. I think either way, it's kind of a win-lose situation. Some people will like the decision, and some people won't. For those who are enjoying the Zelda playthrough and coming out to the streams and supporting it, they're going to be very disappointed if it goes on hiatus and almost never comes back, right? At the same time, there's those who absolutely love Diablo and are dying to see me play it in an interactive capacity because they think it's going to work. There's some people out there who don't like Diablo, right? So, I don't know. I just don't know. I think we got to figure this out, okay? So, we'll continue to talk about it every day for the next week. But I think it's a big determining factor here will also be the reviews of Diablo when we start finding out about its length, about how it plays or whatever. I wonder how it's going to run on console. It's another concern, isn't it? Because I'm going to be playing Diablo 4 if I play it on the Xbox Series X or the PS5. And we have no idea how a game like that will control or really play on a console. That game is typically meant to be PC exclusive. So how exactly are they going to make it work on a console? I don't know. I don't even know if is it a nerfed version? Does it feel weird to play it with a gamepad? I don't know, man. So, I guess we will have to see. And, does it? It plays really well on console? I hope it plays well on console. That'd be great, because then there's no concern at all. I did play Diablo 3 on PC. Yes, it was that long ago that I was playing games on PC and doing my camera capture technique so I could actually play them on there. So, I don't know. Brianna says, I actually put the demo on PS5. It ran really nice. Did it? I wonder what version I should even get. Again, you gotta wonder, will, Digital Foundry have reviews and stuff out early so that we know? Because I would definitely want to get the better version. If this is the case, I literally have no commitment to play it on either console. I could play it on Xbox or PS5. I really don't care. So if it runs better on one version or the other, I would want to get the superior version. But I have no idea which one it would be. So, it's flip-flopped. It definitely has flip-flopped. Okay. Anyway, so there you go. Let's talk about this over the next week, shall we? All right. So the rough schedule today, it's going to be Zelda and Star Wars tomorrow, the hopeful conclusion of Star Wars and Final Fantasy V. I'm off on Wednesday. Thursday, either Zelda and Final Fantasy V, or if we need to, more Star Wars to finish it. Starting Friday, Street Fighter 6. It's going to be Street Fighter 6 Friday and Saturday all day. Sunday is my React show, but then the night stream will also be Street Fighter 6. Starting Monday-ish, we'll determine, do I want to keep doing full-time Street Fighter 6 or mix it up with variety? If we're going to mix it up with variety, do we want to keep on with Zelda, or do we want to bring in Diablo 4? That's the concern. That's what we're trying to figure out for the short term here. More long-term, next month, early on, the first weekend of July, will be my Summer Bash event. I don't know what I'm calling it yet. We have to think of a name for it. But it'll be a fun marathon of gameplay, food, React-style content, meaning like tier makers and stuff like that. Maybe some booze. We'll see. We'll figure it out. but it's going to be a fun special event. That's the next big special event I'm actually doing. Also, last night, I posted up the threads on the community tab of DSP Reacts. For those who are members over there, please post up your clips for next week's React show. And keep in mind that the React show will be next Sunday, not Saturday like usual, but next Sunday to account for the release of Street Fighter 6. Okay? I think I've covered almost all the bases at this point. Obviously, guys, if you like the content, please support it. Thank you very much to those who do. Yesterday was a pretty slow day on that first stream, man. That Star Wars stream, I don't blame you. The Star Wars game, you know, in all reality, should have played it a lot more last month, but I couldn't because the game ran like shit, so I held off for almost a week, and by the time I jumped back in, most other content creators had dropped the game, and not a lot of people have really given Star Wars a shake because the game runs like crap. I get it. So I am trying to finish it, but it's unfortunate because I had a really slow stream yesterday. Well, hopefully, you know, things will be a little better today. Maybe with Zelda and everything, get a little bit more support on the stream would be great. We'll see what happens with the Zelda stream today. But all the ways you can support the stream: liking the stream for engagement, obviously interacting with me in the chat, leaving a super chat or a super sticker, perhaps a membership or renewing a membership that's expired, or maybe you'd like to give some memberships to the community here because we're going to have a lot more people this week and heading into Street Fighter 6. There's going to be a lot more attention on the channel. Great time to maybe help out the community with some gifted memberships. In addition, tips are great. Tips are a great way to support the channel. I have tip rewards in effect for incrementally, you know, 50, 100, 150 bucks. So thanks in advance to anyone who supports this channel in any way. That is how I make my living. I don't have any sponsorships, no partnerships, not getting paid behind the scenes to shill a game or a product. It's all about me and the interactivity I have with you guys here on the streams and you guys supporting me via crowdfunding. So thank you in advance to anyone who supports my streams today. All right. So what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about Memorial Day. All right, but before we do, there's one story. Only one story I wanted to talk about today, and that story is that there's going to be a big sale, supposedly, from Sony. They're calling it Days of Play 2023, which is, I guess, their summer sale event. Starts off on June 2nd, so this Friday. And essentially, if you have a subscription-based plan for a Sony console, yes, this includes PS Plus, and this includes all tier levels of PS Plus. The standard, the extra, and the premium/deluxe. They're all going to be 25% off if you buy the annual plan. So if you were looking to renew your PS Plus membership, this is a great way to save some money on it. It usually does not go on sale, but it will be on sale starting this Friday for like a summer sale event. And apparently they will have other kinds of like digital deals as well for digital games. So give that a look. I just want to give you guys the heads up. I think it lasts about a week. Yeah, it's like a week sale or something like that. You might be interested if you want to save some money. Okay? Just tossing that out there. Outside of that, there's really, again, nothing much at all going on in the realm of gaming. Why? Because guess what? There's newer games about to hit, and all those game events are about to happen. So all that stuff is being saved. You know, once we get reviews coming out for Street Fighter, for Diablo, I'm sure I'll be talking all about that more. But for now, pretty relaxed. What I'd like to do is a little segment about Memorial Day. Now, in the United States, Memorial Day means something different for everyone. As I already explained, the origins of the event are that we're supposed to take some time out to honor those who have passed away in the line of duty, those who were in the armed forces and, you know, were defending our country and sadly lost their lives. And it's an honorable thing. I absolutely support and respect the military. And I want to say thank you to anyone out there who watches my content and maybe has served in the United States military. That's very honorable of you. And understand that there are people who don't just live with blinders on and go on their merry way ignoring everything around them. There are people who are very cognizant of what happens in this country and know the reason that we can do what we do is because of you. So thank you so very much to those who have served. Very much appreciated. Okay? So that being said, how do Americans celebrate? Well, typically on this day, you'd get together with family and friends, and you would do things like cookouts, you know, drinking, partying. Yes, I know that sounds silly, but usually it's an outdoorsy style activity. You usually wouldn't just sit indoors. You go outdoors and do something outside. And over the years, yes, I have done things for Memorial Day with my family. When I was younger, I used to go over to my godparents' house sometimes, and we would have like a big cookout there. You know, chicken, hot dogs, burgers, steaks, stuff like that with big sides and stuff. They had a nice big outdoor pool, so we'd jump in their pool and play there. Sometimes we would actually do an outdoor wiffle ball game where my dad or my godfather would pitch, and all the kids would get up to bat, and they had a ginormous backyard, humongous backyard, and so you could play it and wail on that ball and send it flying into the to the backyard, and it was very fun back in the day when I used to do that stuff. As I grew up, didn't do that much anymore. Why? I've told you guys this. For some odd reason, there was a time period, and I can't even remember exactly when it was. I want to say it was like when I was a teenager. All my family started to have this big falling out. And I actually don't even know what the cause of it was because I wasn't involved. I'm a teenager. I have my own life going on. I'm focusing on school, and I'm working with my friends, and I'm playing competitive Street Fighter at this point. So I don't really care too much about family drama. But apparently my family had this huge falling out and stopped really caring about each other and stopped attending events and stuff. It was kind of messed up, actually, because I went from having what I would consider a big family to basically, oh, no one talks to each other anymore. Really? What the hell happened? I really don't know, because, again, I wasn't involved. And so it all just kind of ended. And I remember that then, for Memorial Day, I'd basically just kind of stay home with my family, and my dad would cook out and get us some food, right, on his charcoal grill he used to have. So it was always good. Charcoal grills are good because you always get that little char flavor that you don't really get on other grills. But man, that was good when you used to cook up ribs and pork ribs. And my mom would like marinate, season them, and then he would put them on there. Oh my God, pork ribs are super duper good on a grill. Other things like that for the holiday. But then, as I got older and I got more heavily into competitive Street Fighter, the Memorial Day weekend changed for me. Because traditionally back in the day, Memorial Day weekend ended up being the weekend that they would hold a major Street Fighter tournament in the United States called ECC, which stood for the East Coast Championships. This tournament would traditionally be held annually, Memorial Day weekend, in Dunellen, New Jersey, at a video arcade called 8 on the Break. This was so long ago. This was before the era of playing video games on consoles for competition. This was arcade cabinet Street Fighter. And because this arcade was a large one, they were able to ship in cabinets from all over the place. Games such as Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Those were the 4 staple Street Fighter games. But then other games such as the Tekken series, eventually more console-centric games like the Dead or Alive series, stuff like that. The only thing we never really had there was Mortal Kombat. Because at that era, Mortal Kombat had basically fallen out from the situation where it was competitive. Mortal Kombat 4 was essentially the last arcade-based Mortal Kombat, and when it went all console, it stopped being in competitive circles, all right? But Street Fighter continued, Tekken continued, and it was pretty funny, okay? It was pretty funny. I would say it was pretty fun at that time. So I started traveling around the late 1990s and early 2000s every single year annually to Dunellen, New Jersey, and I would actually carpool with a bunch of my friends and fellow, Street Fighter competitive players. We would all jump into a car together, and we would drive down. Some years it would be in a car. Some years we went with my friend Scott Hovannisian, who I've talked about many times over the years here in my content, that he was kind of one of the big organizing guys in Connecticut, where I used to live. He would be like, hey, we're going to a tournament, and I got a van, and we're going to drive there together. And he would have setups in the van of, like, TVs and games and consoles, so you could play Street Fighter on the way to the tournament in his van, which was unheard of back then. There was no portable gaming like that back then. And he was one of the people who would actually set this up. And then he'd be sitting outside of the arcade, parked on the street, open up the back of his van, and there'd be multiple freaking, TVs and setups with joysticks and everything set up to play right in the back of the van, which is amazing. You could find pictures and stuff like this. This was unheard of back in the day. So it was fun. We carpool. We'd actually share a hotel room together. And I've already told these stories over the years of various different funny things and antics that happened on our trips. But this was essentially my introduction to competitive Street Fighter. It was the East Coast Championships tournament series every year, annually, Memorial Day weekend, that we would, be playing these games competitively and get into the whole tournament mode. I actually remember it was one of the earlier years of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 being out, that so many people showed up. Now, here's the thing. Today, easily these tournaments bring in hundreds to thousands of attendees, correct? Back then, it was more grassroots. And since you were all in one small arcade, on average, a tournament would get maybe between 100, 200 entries. Sometimes you push 300, but if you had that many, you were really pushing it for time constraints, because keep in mind, the whole tournament's being run on maybe 3-4 cabinets. That's it. So 3-4 setups. Keep in mind also, back then, because everything was played on a cabinet, there's potential that things would constantly break and have issues. It's not like you're playing on your own joystick. You're plugging in and out of a console. Everyone's using the same controls. When everyone's using the same controls, they break down. And this would happen all the time, right in the middle of a tournament. Oh, joystick breaks, buttons break, and now you got to swap them out, and you got to do all this maintenance work right in the middle of a competition. But I particularly remember one time, I can't exactly remember the entire situation, but I believe it was guys from this area of the country, Seattle, had gone to East Coast Championships. I think it was Rotron and his crew from Seattle came out to face the players from the East Coast, including Justin Wong and Ricky Ortiz and them. And I remember the tournament ran, I'm not kidding, over 24 hours without a break. It kept going. It just kept fucking going, because we had to keep playing overnight in order to keep the tournament running, or else we would have ran behind and never been able to finish it. So imagine getting no sleep, and for 24 hours you're in an arcade and people are playing nonstop and you're running matches and whatever. And I was there and I watched the whole dang thing unfold. It was pretty epic. I remember the finals. I believe it was Rotron versus Ricky Ortiz. It was a crazy match. I think Ricky won in the end, but it was like super duper close. And I remember at one point Sanford was involved too, but I don't remember if Sanford was actually in the finals or not. I can't remember exactly. But it was one of the most epic tournaments that I ever seen, back in the day. And this is cool because basically it would run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then when the tournament ended, usually around mid-afternoon to late afternoon on Sunday, everyone would travel home Sunday night and a Monday. So you would still be able to have a Monday with your family or friends for Memorial Day. So even though you played video games all weekend long, you got your tournament fix, and the results at that point would be posted on like shoryuken.com. Oh, here's the big winners or whatever. So you'd be getting some clout, and you get to come home and you get to relax at your other life. Because it really did feel like when you got into competitive Street Fighter, like this was one aspect of your life. But then on the other hand, you had all real life stuff going on the other side of the spectrum too that was different. That was separate. Like, who the hell cared in your real life that you went to a Street Fighter tournament that weekend and did well or sucked? Who gives a shit, right? You get together with your family or friends, and you're just going to have your usual food or whatever and just enjoy the holiday. They don't care about how many times you did an Air Hyper Viper beam with Cable. They don't care about your Touch of Death combos with DJ. You know what I mean? It's just, they don't give a shit. They don't even know what you're talking about, right? So, that was pretty crazy time. And that ran, I would say, all the way to the late 90s through, like, the whole first half of the 2000s. I think it was actually, I want to say, probably around 2004, 2005. So we're talking maybe 5-6 straight years that every year I would go to ECC. Then, I actually ran ECC one year. Because the person who always used to run it, his name was Fee Long. He basically wanted to retire, or at least take a year off from doing it. So he did, and I ran it along with Josh Wigfall from New York City. We shared the responsibilities, kind of split them right down the middle. And we ran ECC that year, and that was the year that everything went console. We basically said, enough with the arcade cabinets, everything's got to go console. So everything was on like PS2 or, whatever the hot console was at the time, because it was before the era of Xbox 360 and PS3. And it was great running it. It was actually quite fun. Had a lot of fun doing it. Although after that, basically, Fee wanted to come back and run it again. I was like, go ahead. I like doing it for the year, but hey, you ran it for all those years. You got your year off. Go on back and keep doing it. Eventually, it retired. Why? Well, a couple things. Number one, the guy who runs a on the break tournament or arcade, essentially, he still has the arcade, I believe, but basically, competitive fighting games ended in arcades. They just don't exist anymore. You can't really go to a video arcade and find competitive fighting games anymore. Fighting games went all console. So, essentially, we lost the reason to run it at the arcade. Why are you going to run a major tournament at an arcade when the games aren't played in the arcades anymore, right? It wouldn't even make any sense to do that. So what ended up happening was other tournaments started popping up and sprouting up that were all run at like a ballroom at a hotel or a convention center or, university campus that has like computer rooms and stuff. That's where these tournaments started popping up. And they kind of took over for ECC. So over the years, ECC just kind of got faded out, and other tournaments kind of took over for it. Although there really is, to my knowledge, no major tournament on Memorial Day weekend anymore. Like, that weekend always had been reserved for ECC. And when ECC retired in the late I think it was late 2000s or early 2010s, but I think it was late 2000s. So when it retired, that was it. Like, no one else said, hey, we're going to take over. It was more like, all these other tournaments already exist. It's good enough. So it's kind of funny. ECC was a really interesting part of my life. Those early, those teen years into my early 20s, when I was heavily into competitive Street Fighter, it was always a yearly annual tradition. That Memorial Day weekend, you're gearing up with friends, you're getting into a car or a van or a truck, and you're, driving away, and you're heading over to Dunellen, New Jersey to play competitive Street Fighter, to have a good time with your buds, and to see, to face mano a mano, who's the best. Back then, there was no online play in these fighting games. You had to play in person, and this was the way to prove who was the best, and people from all different regions and walks of life would come. It was great because we had people from Texas, Chicago, California. The only thing we never really had were Japanese players. The Japanese never really came to the East Coast of the United States, mostly because the travel, right? If you're going to come from Japan, you're going to go to a California tournament or whatever. Why? Because that's right there on the West Coast. When you touch down, it's not a big deal. They didn't want to fly across the entire country to come to ECC. It's like double the travel. So that never happened. But outside of that, we even had Canadians one year, I remember. A Canadian team came down to play, which was really neat to have that big variety of players or whatever. So, pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that was essentially what I used to do on Memorial Day. And then what happened is once I basically quit competitive Street Fighter, Memorial Day just kind of became another day for me. Now that I'm a YouTuber, it really is just another streaming day. I don't do anything too special. I said to my wife, why don't we have hot dogs today? But she wasn't in the mood for hot dogs. We're just going to have leftovers today. I'm like, oh, well, it is what it is. No big deal. But that's what happens in life is you get different phases of your life that are different. When I was younger, it was the family day where I cooked out, played games, softball or wiffle ball, had fun with the family. Then that phased out. Then it became a major part of my Street Fighter career for many, many years there, ECC. And then that kind of phased out, and then it really never got picked up to be something else. So, but I'm sure everyone out there has a different story about Memorial Day and how they celebrate it and what they do for it. Maybe I'll ask you guys in a little bit for your stories, all right? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed mine. Thanks for listening. All right, guys, that's really all I got for the show today. Let's get to shout-outs. We'll do some shout-outs here first, and then we'll talk a little bit about your stuff, what's going on. We'll open it up to Q&A or whatever. Sound good? Okay. So, shout out to Gray Fox RJ, who re-upped his membership for 9 months. He says, got it, but what are the implications? I have no idea what you're talking about. Gray Fox, if you'd like to elaborate on what you're talking about, please do. Tag me in the chat, but I have no clue what you're referencing. Hello, Juan Da Ortega. I think it's supposed to be Juan David Ortega. How you doing? Dan Man says, I'm here and ready for a chill stream today. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so moving on. We have a few tips to shout out here. Okay. Mr. Jizzlefish says, any way to see how long I've been a member? There should be... I don't remember where the membership area is for those who are members of a channel. Your crown will indicate, how long consecutively you've been a member, because it changes depending on how long you've been consecutively a member. 1 month is bronze, 2 months is silver, 3 months is gold, up to 6 months is the gold encrusted with rubies and emeralds, and then 6 months to a year. So when you hit the year, you get the regal crown. But I don't exactly know how long to see how long your streak is. Yeah. Anyway, happy Memorial Day to you, Drinksy Man. Nice name. Okay, oh, get it, Drinksy Man, like drink semen? You disgusting freak. You're a disgusting person. How dare you get me to say that? Anyway, so we have a couple tips to shout out here, okay? Let's do it. First tip came out overnight, and it's someone upset again. Why? I talked about this on yesterday's stream, okay? And I'll talk about it again, but it's going to be brief. Here's what I'm just going to read. You ready? So yesterday, I said there was someone who submitted a video for DSP Reacts, for DSP versus the Internet. I watched the video. I didn't like it. I moved on. This person became incensed and upset with me. Sent me a really nasty email about how I'm a bad person, and this is why all my haters have ammo for me, because I'm a bad person because of the way that I reacted to the video. Now, I responded to this yesterday, right? And I said on this show, guys, I don't know what this person's even talking about. If you submit a clip for DSP versus the Internet, I'm going to give you my honest reaction to the clip. I'm not going to lie and kiss your butt and say every clip is good. That's kind of the point of the show, isn't it? You submit a clip, I watch it, and I tell you what I think about it. There's going to be some clips that either I don't get or I just don't like, and I move on. In addition, a lot of the times I'm watching a clip and the chat just says it's boring or whatever, move on. And so I do. In this case, I particularly remember the clip. It was like some kind of a RPG, it looked like. But it looked like one of those ones that's on PC, so it looks like an old school RPG with more modernized graphics, HD graphics. It didn't look too interesting. It kind of looked like a top-down JRPG, and it had some music playing. And I was like, I don't get this. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is it an ad for the game or whatever? And I said, oh, well, we're moving on. And I went to the next video. No one in chat understood it either, and everyone was like, boring, just move on, so I did. This particular person is so upset with me, okay? They sent another tip with another message this morning. I'm going to read it. You missed my point. My friend made that music video. It was excellent. If only you would give it a shot. Even for me, I've contributed a lot to you, but you just shit on my video and move on. That's why I'm so pissed at you, Phil. You don't know how people feel about the clips they're sending. You should be nicer to your fans. Now, this is such a loaded statement. Just listen to what the person is saying. It's almost like they feel like I actively crapped on the video they submitted on purpose to make them feel bad or something. Obviously, it's not the case. The funny part about this is just, well, my friend made it. Well, number one, how do I know that? And number two, what does it have to do with anything? Right? I mean, if your mother made a fart compilation video, I'd still say the fart compilation video wasn't very good. Because I don't want to see a fart compilation video. I don't care if your mom made it. Okay? It's... You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter who made the video. It's a moot point. All right? Now, you might think that the video is good. That's your prerogative. For me, I'm in the middle of a clip show. I'm watching random clips. This clip is not catching on. I'm watching it. And I'm like, meh, it's boring. I don't really get it. I don't know what the game is. So I don't know what the context of the video is. Right? So how, I mean, again, the qualifying things you're saying don't make any sense. You're saying, well, my friend made it. Well, I didn't know that. That doesn't even matter anyway. Oh, well, it's supposed to be a music video of this game. Well, I don't know that. I don't even know what I'm watching. That's the nature of the clip show, is that I'm getting thrown a bunch of random clips. I don't understand what they are, right? So I can't really give perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the perspective of, like, if someone walked up to me and said, Phil, so by the way, here's a clip. Now, this clip is a musical video that my friend made. And it's of this certain RPG that they really like. And they put a lot of time and effort into it. And I appreciate if you could watch at least 30 seconds to a minute of this video, because he put a lot of time into it. And even if you don't like it, you know, just give it a look. Versus, here's the clip that I want you to watch this week, and I put it into the playlist. I don't have any of that information whatsoever. So I'm watching this clip out of context with a live audience who, by the way, is saying, wow, this clip is boring. Move on, move on, move on, move on. I'm trying to do my best to juggle what they're saying with my feelings about the video, right? That's not, the qualifying characteristics of your feelings don't matter because they're not correct. I'm not sitting here in a contextual situation where I understand what you're talking about or anything about this video. I'm watching it cold turkey and not knowing what I'm watching. Now, in addition to all of that, this is the part that gets me, is the person says, oh, I've contributed so much to you, but you just shit on the clip and move on. How do I know I don't know who submitted the clips. Again, in order to not have bias, I put all those clips into a playlist and I just watch them. All right? I don't know who submitted what. I mean, sometimes we can kind of figure it out. If the same kind of clip is submitted week in and week out, and we kind of know who submits certain style of clips, we can figure that out. But I don't know who submitted what clip. I don't know, you know, this is someone who has contributed to me a ton. And by the way, that also would not matter. Just because you've contributed a ton, or maybe this is your first time being a member and submitting a video, that has absolutely no bearing on my feelings of a video I'm watching. Oh, someone's a big contributor, so now I have to watch a video and kiss the video's butt because I know it's from a big contributor? No, I'm never going to do that. That's not me. That's literally the antithesis of what I stand for on the internet. I'm not a shill. So I'm not going to sit here and give an overly positive opinion of something just because you're apparently a big contributor, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, everything that this person is saying, it's kind of ridiculous because it's like, there's a lot of like, oh, I deserved better. This should have been treated better. The point is, when you submit something for the React show, you don't know how I'm going to react to it. I don't know either. But if you're submitting something that's so meaningful to you and so important that if I were to say something negative about it, you're going to be insulted, then don't submit it. Don't. Because you don't know what I'm going to say. You have no clue, right? So why would you then do that and put yourself into that situation? I certainly wouldn't do it, right? So, again, you seem like you're blaming me for a whole bunch of stuff that I have no control over, and it's also not even the premise of the show. You understand? I'm very confused. It seems to me this is someone who had a lot of very confusing preconceived notions about what it was supposed to be, and that's not what it is, you know? And I believe previously this person has said, well, actually, for the last several weeks I've submitted clips, you don't like any of them. Again, what do you want me to do about that? Do you want me to lie? First of all, I don't know what clips are from you, so it's not like I'm actively saying, oh, it's the clip from this person. Their clips always suck. I'll just shit on it this week. I'm not doing that. I'm actually giving my legit reactions to the clips that are submitted, and that's the best I can do. Be real, be true, not make stuff up, not sugarcoat, not butter, not kiss butt. That's how I've always been in the 15... This cat will not stay off my lap today. In the 15 years, right, that I have been a YouTuber. That's who I've been. I'm not going to change who I am as a content creator and a YouTuber. And if you think, oh, being honest is mean, well, then you're in the wrong place. I have always prided myself on being transparent with my opinions on games, my opinions now on these videos I'm reacting to, right? I'm not going to change overnight and be Mr. Kiss Butt, Mr. Rainbows and Unicorns and Sprinkles and Glitter and everything's good. I'm never going to be that person, you understand? So if that's what you became a member for, you're definitely in the wrong place. I'm sorry, but you get, again, when you say things like, oh, I'm a big supporter, how the hell does that have anything to do with anything? I'm a big supporter, so I should kiss the butt of the clips you submit? That's ridiculous. All right? And the thing is, I'm trying to be respectful here. Because I could have literally ignored your concerns. Or I could have said, fuck off, I don't care, right? But I'm not going to be like that. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to explain my rationale to people so people know where I'm coming from, okay? I hope you know that, all right? That's what I'm going for here. I don't want people to be upset. I don't want people to be thinking that I'm trying to be a jerk to them or whatever. That's not the case at all. In this case, it's funny because this person sounds like they actively think I'm, like, reading out their videos just to crap on them. Let me tell you something. If that were the case, I would just not play the video at all, right? I would just say skip it and not play it. Why am I going to waste my time with it, you know? I don't know who these clips are from or whatever, so it's kind of ridiculous that someone would actually think that I'm, like, out to get them almost. It couldn't be further from the truth, all right? What I'll say is I apologize because the nature of a show like DSP versus the Internet is very simple. You never know what you're going to get, and you never know how I'm going to react. That's kind of the fun nature of it. It's a variety show where anything goes, you know, and you never, you know, you don't know what kind of stuff you're going to see on it. One day you could see a food video, the next day it's a music video, the next day it's some kind of a comedy animation, a serious documentary, something that's a scary video, you know. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that we've watched on the show in the now almost 4 months that I've been doing it, you know. That's the point, is that you don't know what it's going to be. And then when I watch it, I at least should have the ability to be honest about what I'm watching and not have to worry about repercussions. That, oh, I said I didn't like a video, so now someone's offended. What is this nonsense? I can't give you an opinion anymore. I can't literally be honest with my audience, transparent, because it offends you. If you're offended by opinions, you shouldn't be on the internet. Really. If you're offended by opinions, you should just stick in a little safe zone with people who like the same things you like. And just stay away from opinions on the internet. Because opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them, and they're all really shitty. And they're going to be offensive to a lot of people. But if you set yourself up for that, if you actively became a member and submitted a video, you have to understand it could go badly. It might be something I don't like. All right? I hope people understand that. Again, I'm not going to pussyfoot around anything. All right? 15 years is a long time in my life. It's more than a third of my life I've been a YouTuber. Not time to change now and become Mr. Mr. Softy. Be careful that I don't offend someone with the things that I say when I'm criticizing a video, right? Okay. So anyway, I hope this now puts this issue to bed. If this person is so offended and don't understand where I'm coming from that they never want to support again, then I guess so be it. That's fine. Can't change an opinion, can't change someone's mindset. I think they went into it with the wrong mentality, quite frankly, and it's a shame. Okay, let's continue. So, Indead has become a member for 2 years, earning the Rose Gold Crown. Thank you, Indead. And he says, 2 years. What's going on, Indead? Good to see you here today. And Thanks for 2 years of support. I received a $4.20 tip, it looks like. Yes. So, no name on this one. I think it's anonymous. Let's play the nice animation. An anonymous 420 tip. They did leave a message. Hold on, we get them on the leaderboard first. Okay. Alright, so happy Memorial Day to all. I'm ready for a chill stream of gaming. Me too. I wish I could stream for a living. Work gets tough. Cheers, Phil. Hey, I hear ya. Listen, the thing is, I've been there. It's not like this is something that I was intending on doing with my life. It's not like I planned this. And certainly it's not like I haven't been where you've been. I worked a bunch of crap jobs for a long time. I worked an office job where I thought that they would cherish the work that I did there. And in reality, they didn't value any of it and laid me my ass off after 4.5 years of busting my butt. You know, I've been there. I've been through the grind of it. Retail, fast food, you know, corporate America as well. All of it. I've seen it all. And I hear you and I empathize with you because if you're going through a time at your job, you don't like your job, but you're just going through 9 to 5 to make money. I've been there. All right. And sorry, because I know a lot of people sadly have to work today, which is bullshit because some people get it off and some people don't. If it's a national holiday, either everyone should get it off or nobody. Not, oh, some people, which is really stupid in my opinion. But it is what it is, I guess. And, you know, I apologize to those who have to work. Sorry about that, all right? And, there you go. Moving on. I received a $1.50 tip. Oh, this is, okay. It's so ridiculous, I'm just going to ignore it. Really, I know exactly who this is, I'm just ignoring it. It's baloney. Okay. Alrighty then. Alright, guys. Shall we now open it up? Yeah, it's about 12:15. We got about 15, 20 minutes left on the show. I'd like to take the opportunity to open the show up to Q&A. See what you guys would like to chat about today. Anything that you want to talk about, please send it my way. What is my favorite Crash game? Ooh, probably Crash Bandicoot 2. I feel like Crash Bandicoot 2 is the perfect mix of challenge, fun, and optional content. Like, Crash Bandicoot 1 was just a tough-ass game to get through. Crash Bandicoot 2 is easier to just get through, but if you want to challenge yourself to get all the optional content, it's quite challenging. So it's like, it's just fun if you just want to go through it, but it's very challenging if you want to kind of do the completionist stuff, but it's your choice if you want to or not. That's what I liked about it. So I would say Crash Bandicoot 2 was my favorite. Shout out to Dan the Man. Dan just dropped a 5-member bomb on the chat. So congratulations to Kanye, Queen of Hearts, Whispering Eye, Boros Legionnaire, and Jean-Marie Cousteau, number 17. We each just got a gifted membership. Be sure to thank Dan the Man for the help of the community there. Thank you, Dan. That is very nice of you. Unless we lost memberships, but I don't think we did so far today. We should be up to 705, so thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate that. What's my favorite kind of sock? Oh my god, this is the Dan Man. Not Dan the Man, but the Dan Man. What's my favorite kind of sock? I don't like the ones that are real short, but I don't like the ones that are up to your calf. So what's the one that's in the middle? I like the middle length sock. That's the sock I like the most. But I don't know what it's called. I'm not a sock aficionado. The ankle ones are too short and they tend to fall off your foot when you're walking in a shoe. And the ones that go to your calf are just ridiculous. Why do you need a sock all the way up to your calf? Right? Boros Legionnaire asks, would I be willing to play Dark Souls interactively with my audience? How on earth would I play Dark Souls interactively with my audience unless I was constantly summoning? How would I even do that? And why would I want to do that? Wouldn't that make the game just piss easy to always have someone with you? Like, I did that once. It was after I had played the original Dark Souls run in 2011 and I quit the game in, what was it, Undead Burg or whatever? No, not Undead Burg, What's the part of the game where the frame rate dips and all the blow dart assholes are there? I can't remember what it's called. But I quit the game there because I didn't know where to go and I was just frustrated as shit, okay? My second run essentially was not a real run. My second run was a guided tour where I didn't know how to play the game or where to go, but people wanted me to see the whole game to understand what I was missing when I quit the game in 2011. So I want to say this was like 2012, 2013. It was definitely when I was a live streamer, so it was probably 2013. At that point, people said, just keep summoning. So I would summon, and these overpowered people would show up and basically just hold my hand through the whole game, kill everything, fight the bosses. But I was able to see the entirety of the game with their help, you see? So that was neat because a guided tour of Dark Souls, it really wasn't a run. It was more of a tour run. And I actually enjoyed seeing all the world design and everything, even though the game ran like shit on PlayStation. It was fun to do. And that would, I say, would be, I guess, what you're describing. I don't know why would I want to constantly be playing multiplayer in a Dark Souls game? It's more challenging and fun to actually just play single player, right? So, okay. Do I dye my hair? Absolutely not. As you can see, I have tons of white and gray hair. It's just that we have to essentially, you have to essentially get up close. So, for example, that's too close. Look at my beard. It's all white hair. See that? My whole face, basically this whole face here, and even my mustache, tons of white hair. My head, not so much. I got a few, but very few. Like, not a lot. See? It's mostly dark hair. Yeah, it's mostly darker hair in my head. And it hasn't really changed over to being white. I have a few, like, here and here. I think if my hair does start to turn all gray or white, you're going to see it here on the edges first. Right there. Almost like the Reed Richards look, right? It's probably what you're going to see first. But then, whoop, the whole thing's going to go after. But no, like, I guess I'm just lucky in that regard. Whoops, clicked the wrong thing. I guess I'm lucky in that regard that I haven't really had that issue, right? I haven't really had that issue at all with my hair turning gray, at least at now. But I get the feeling it will hit since all my facial hair is like white. Do I struggle with nose and ear hair? Do I struggle with it? No, I don't struggle with it. Do I have it? Yeah, I do. I got nose hair that bothers me. I have a nose hair trimmer that I use when it gets too long or I start, it starts being intrusive or I start sneezing on it. Ear hair, I have some, but it's not intrusive. And every once in a while, if I need to trim it, I do. It's not a huge deal. I'm sure as I get older, it'll get worse, but who cares? It's not a big deal. Plans on getting the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection? Probably yes. Mostly because I want to play Metal Gear Solid 1 on a modern console. People have asked me to replay Metal Gear Solid 1 for years, and I'm like, I can't. It's not on anything. My PS3 doesn't work anymore. I can't play it on anything else. So that's basically how I would get to play it. Billy Jason, I know you're a busy guy. If time wasn't an issue, where would you want to go and visit? It's time and money, My wife always wanted to go to Japan, so I'd like to go to Japan for tourism. I always wanted to visit, like, Canada. I always forget where it is. Vancouver. I want to go up to Vancouver. I heard it's a really nice touristy place with good food. Europe. Would love to go to Europe someday and do like a tour of Europe, all the major countries, starting with like the UK and then heading eastward, I guess. But also, I just want to at some point have a nice like kind of West Coast vacation with my wife. We never had a honeymoon, so it would be nice to like go to Hollywood and check out the sites there. Maybe go to Universal Studios, maybe Disneyland together, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Pretty standard vacation, but just to have that with her, because I never had that at all with her. No, I'm not doing a Gollum stream for the lulz. I'm not wasting money and time. That's ridiculous. I received... see here. I received a $1 tip. Someone said, this summer or after Elden Ring, would you do another Fallout 4 full playthrough, please? The way it's been going is every year we seem to play one Bethesda game, and it always seems to be early on. Usually what ends up happening is, you guys ask me during like a Christmas marathon to play a variety of games, and typically it's Bethesda games. Last year, it just so happened, it was both Fallout 3 and Oblivion. And I played each for about 90 minutes, and people then afterwards said, no, we'd prefer Oblivion, do an Oblivion playthrough. So I did. I would think next year we're probably going to go back to Fallout, because 2 years now it's been Elder Scrolls, it's been Skyrim, then Oblivion. So next year, likely it's either going to be Fallout 3 and all its DLCs, or Fallout 4 and all of its DLCs. So eventually I feel like we are going to go back and play Fallout 4 again. I think that would be fun, because I only played it the once, so it'd be good to re-experience the game. Okay. Let's see here. I got a dollar tip from the Dan Man, and he asked, what type of ground beef do you recommend that I'll get today for hamburgers and the barbecue later? Man, for hamburgers, it all depends. It really does depend. First of all, you don't have to get hamburger meat, because hamburger meat is beef, right? You could get other things. You could get bison meat. You ever had bison meat? Dude, bison meat is incredibly lean, but it's very tasty. It's really good. The only catch is, because it's lean, it tends to dry out, so you have to cook it a little bit more fast and not let it get too dry on the inside. But bison burgers are really, really delicious. As for regular beef, you know, for me, a typical burger that's good, I always use the higher fat content, because you cook it slower and then it gets more juicy. So like an 80-20 mix, so 80% lean, 20% fat. I would use that for meatballs or hamburgers. Some people are like, oh no, we need the extra, extra lean. You could go for that if you want. It is going to have less flavor, and again, you're going to have to be careful about cooking it, because it's less fat means it gets drier quicker. But it all depends. Some people go for Angus or other things. That's up to you. Angus beef does taste a little better than regular beef, but the thing is with a burger, typically, if you're cooking a burger on the grill, it's about the char flavor, and it's about everything else you're putting on it. It's really not about the meat that much. So, do you really want to spend extra money for your Angus burger that's going to taste almost exactly the same as a non-Angus burger, because you made it on the same grill with the same char flavor? I mean, you know, I almost never, ever would use Angus beef. Some people say that chuck is better. Some people say brisket is better. I mean, brisket's expensive, right? But it all depends. It all depends on what you can do, what you can afford. They're all good, though, right? Okay. Okay. Continuing on. Let's see here. I got a dollar tip from someone saying, I also would love to see some Fallout 4. Cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Wonder where Jasper went. He's disappeared. He's not on the floor. I don't think he's in the closet. He disappeared. Yeah, I only played Fallout 4 once. So playing it a second time would probably be kind of fun. I probably wouldn't remember a lot of it either, quite frankly. As opposed to Fallout 3, I've played multiple times. I'll probably remember it better, right? I wonder. Hold on. Jasper Cat, you're not in the closet, are you? No, he's not. Ah. Hold on one second. I just want to obviously make sure he's all right, because he kind of disappeared. Hold on. Oh, there you are, buddy. You all right? You all right, buddy? Okay, he's good. He's fine. He's fine. He was running around the house. He came right up to me and meowed very loudly, which is very nice. When he meows like that, it means that he's in a good mood. Here he is. He came right back to join us. Oh, Jasper. You're the best cat ever. You're such a nut. I love this cat. He's my buddy. All right, let's continue. Another tip. Hold on. Ah, he's slipping all over my lap. Okay, let's see here. Another dollar tip. Someone else says, yes, me too, for yet another Fallout 4 playthrough. Wow, that's 3 different people who chimed in for Fallout 4. I actually didn't know there was that much. Jasper, would you stop trying to sit on my lap today? He wants to sit on my lap constantly. You can't sit on my lap, but I'm streaming, Jasper. And we were downstairs sitting on the couch. Okay. We're in bed. You want to lay next to me? Okay. Not when I'm streaming, buddy. He's such a nut. Okay. This guy's name is Schizo Lifter. What a name. He says, do you have any fallen military in your family? Luckily, no. Many of my family members served. My great uncle was in the Navy for a lot of his life, actually. But luckily, no one passed away in the line of service in my family. My dad was a Marine for a little bit, okay? Okay. Let's see here. I got another dollar tip. This person says, I've been watching your Fallout 4 playthrough. Hands down, it's one of your best and funniest playthroughs of all time. There you go. Thank you. That was an interesting playthrough for sure, because I was super hyped for Fallout at the time. Keep in mind, this was definitely before the fall of Bethesda, because after that, Bethesda started making games like Fallout 76 and stuff. It's like, oh god, what's going on? A lot of people had a lot of hopes for Fallout 4. I do feel that Fallout 4 was a great game. At the same time, I kind of agree in retrospect, it's not as good as the previous Fallout games. Like, I think Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas are better than Fallout 4. But I think Fallout 4 had a lot of good modernizations. At the same time, I think it had a lot of missteps, like with the base building and defense and shit. It was like, oh god, what happened here? Because that's the thing, like, I know for a fact if I were to play Fallout 4 again, I would probably enjoy the story and the open world exploration and the combat, and I would probably absolutely hate the bases. The bases are like everyone's worst part, right? We all hate it. We all hate those bases. I did not enjoy that at all. Okay, I got another dollar tip from someone saying, I would love another Fallout 4 playthrough. What is going on? See, I wonder if these are all different people or the same person over and over. I have no clue. It's funny, all these anonymous tips coming in now saying, I want Fallout 4. It's funny. Again, more than likely what will happen is, you know, at the end of the year, around Christmas time, we'll do a marathon. We'll probably try a couple games as part of the marathon. And then likely after that, there'll be like polling or whatever to determine what should be a nice long-form playthrough for early 2024. You know, I also guarantee you it's going to end up being like Fallout 3 versus Fallout 4 versus maybe like one other game. And we'll see what happens. I'm curious. Would nostalgia win over? Would people want to see me play Fallout 3 again for the first time in like a decade, right? Or would it be something else? I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious. Oh, hold on. I got to stretch. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, man. Woo. That was a good stretch. That's oxygenation, if you didn't know. When you stretch like that, it's putting oxygen into your body, into your blood, and it makes you feel good and refreshed after you do it. That's what it's for. It's very nice. Okay. All right. So, by the way, this guy's name is Schizo Lifter, like a schizophrenic lifter. I kind of don't want to put that into the chat, so I'm just gonna say S Lifter. Not the chat, the leaderboard. Thank you for the super chat, but I'm not gonna put your full name up there. I'm not so sure you should be advertising if you're schizophrenic. Just saying. I says I should recline in my chair to relax. I could, but I can't really recline. But I can put my legs up. My legs do go up. But the thing is, Jasper might run under the chair then. Under where the legs are. I don't know if I want to do that. No, I've never done a 16-hour fast, the Dan Man. At least not actively to my knowledge on purpose. There may have been a time or two in my life where I didn't eat for a long time. Maybe even, you know, that long. But I couldn't tell you when it was or what the intention was. I don't know. Okay. So, last chance if anyone would like to talk and hang out here, any other conversation, or any last minute contributions or whatever you'd like a shout out for, now's the chance before we adjourn the podcast and jump back into Zelda. John Smith says, System Shock remake ? I would love to play the System Shock remake, but it's PC only, right? If it ports to consoles, I would play it. I never played System Shock. I've heard tons of good things about it, as if like it's basically the predecessor to say BioShock, right? Even the name, Bioshock, System Shock, you see? So that's cool. I would love to play it, but they got to actually make it for, you know, they need to make it as a console deal, right? So let's see. I got another super chat here. This one's from Thorax, who says, you should play Kingdom Hearts 1 again. Recently, I replayed it. One of the best soundtracks in gaming history. You know, I remember playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and actually being blown away by what it was, because I didn't actually know that that's what it was. Like, that, I didn't know that's what the game actually was. I thought that it was a different kind of game. I didn't realize it was like an action-based RPG like it is. And it's funny, because when I played Kingdom Hearts, I was like, wow, I can actually see a lot of modern RPGs kind of playing an action-based RPG just like this. And maybe this game is one of the ones that actually set that formula off. At the same time, I do feel Kingdom Hearts 1 had a lot of way more outdated things, right? For example, I do feel the combat engine was very limited. I do feel a lot of the things were very annoying and very kind of over-the-top challenging, way too hard. The ending, oh my god, the end of the game is an insane grind, an insane enemy gauntlet grind. It doesn't need to be like that. It almost kind of spoils the ending of otherwise pretty pleasant game, because they made it such a ridiculous end game gauntlet. So I'm happy I played it. Will I ever go back and play it again one day? Maybe I would. We'll see. I mean, they certainly made enough collections that I'd be able to play it on some kind of a modern console, I'm sure. Just to think about it. Okay, continuing on. I got another dollar tip. Someone asks, when is Elden Ring coming back? Well, what we need to do is actually talk about what Elden Ring was supposed to be. This was supposed to be my second run in the game, and it was either going to be New Game Plus or Standard New Game, and I was going to do a Magic build. Okay? It's exactly what it was. You guys said, just go New Game. Don't go New Game Plus, because New Game Plus is too easy. So, the challenge run, or not the challenge run, the second run has been fun, but admittedly, the Magic build is quite overpowered. Once you get the right spells and the right things, man, the Magic is crazy powerful. How am I fighting the Lich Dragon, and on the second or third attempt, just demolishing it with the freaking Kamehameha beam, or whatever it's called in this. I don't remember exactly what it's even called, the Moonlight something, or whatever. I don't even know what it is. But it's pretty broken, all right? It's fun, though. I'm enjoying the run, and I'm having a great time with it, going back, doing all the more extra challenging content. But it went on hiatus this month as I jumped into other new releases. Why? Because the channel focuses on new releases first, you understand? So when new games are coming out, those are always going to take priority over me doing like a throwback retro second run, because we're doing time filler stuff. Right now, I don't need any time filler content whatsoever. I don't need any of that. All right? So it'll come back eventually. It will. The real reason that we did the second run of Elden Ring was because I needed to prepare for the impending DLC. Now, we don't know when the DLC is coming out because it has no release date. But the point was that I needed to go back and play through the game to a point where I hoped that if the DLC started, you know, we get to a point where I could just start it whenever, right? And the thing is, the game, you could respec at any time. So if I start the DLC and I think, oh, the Magic Run's too powerful, maybe the Magic Run isn't fun, we could immediately respec to something different, which is cool. I like that about the game. So that's it. Like, mission is accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like, we beat it to the point where, or we got progress to the point where I know I could start the DLC, so we're good in that regard. But I know some people want me to go back to it, and I will, when times calm down and we're not balancing a bunch of new releases. It's supposed to be a filler playthrough to fill in the time around non-new releases, you know. If there's nothing going on, summertime slower, then Elden Ring will come back. I actually want to play Elden Ring. I've really enjoyed this run to the point where I want to continue with the Magic and see how it does against other impending bosses, okay? But we're too busy right now trying to just get through what we're getting through. We got multiple new games coming on the horizon. Okay. Let's see here. It seems like I got another dollar tip asking the same thing. I don't even know, at this point, I don't even know if I should count that dollar or not, because I just got two in a row that each said, when is Elden Ring returning? It's weird that I'm getting two like that. I wonder if this person intended to do two $1 tips or something. I don't know. I'll count it, but, I mean, it's only $1. It's not a huge deal. Anyway. RP71284 did a super chat and says $100 if you don't say I did nothing wrong today with a question mark. Well, it's too late because by reading your super chat, I already said it. So you kind of negated my ability to not say it because I had to say it to read your super chat. You understand? Okay. I didn't say Elden Ring was bad, John F. Kennedy. I don't know where you're getting that. I never said Elden Ring is a bad game. You're out of your mind. I never outright said, oh, this game is just terrible and no one should play it. I never said that. Okay. Are we good? Are we good to wrap up? Last chance, guys. And last questions or anything before we wrap up here? I mean, Elden Ring was technically in a run for Game of the Year last year. How could I have said it was a bad game? When it tied essentially for Game of the Year. Now, I did give God of War Ragnarok the win, but... Guts, how you doing? He's just having Memorial Day. Haven't been watching your Zelda playthrough, but I'll watch the stream today. Sounds good. Good to have you. Oh, yeah, Gollum is flying off the shelves. That's correct. Flying off the shelves right into the trash cans. Would I want a new Spyro game? Why not? Sure. Let's get a new Spyro out there. Thoughts on sugar-free versus regular soda? Sugar-free soda can be alright. Personally, I don't like Diet Coke or Pepsi. I do think they taste gross. But for example, this is seltzer water, and this is flavored with, what do you call it? Aspartame. I think it tastes fine. I actually think it's quite delicious. It has a little bit of sweetness to it. It's got a flavoring. It's good. And it doesn't have sugar. It doesn't rot my teeth. So, I can understand some people who drink this stuff without the sugar in it. And as long as it's a good replacement. But I don't know about cola with that. Like I said, Diet Coke, Pepsi, I actually don't like either. I think they taste weird. No Gollum for me. The game is awful. Eric says, what's up? What's going on, Eric? Good to see you today. No, we're not shaving Jasper for the summer. That's absolutely ridiculous. We never shave Jasper Kitty. Okay. Jinx, what's going on? Good to see you. Happy Memorial Day, Jinx. I don't know if you celebrate Memorial Day, but good to see you here on the stream. Hope you're having a good one. Umi did a super chat, says, do you think Call of Duty will run out of ideas? The recent games have been so similar. I think they ran out of ideas a long time ago, quite frankly. Considering they're redoing the entire Modern Warfare series, I don't know how you could argue they haven't run out of ideas. They're just reusing the same ideas in a cyclical pattern now, right? I guess the question is, will people get tired of it? Because it seems like they never do. Because it really seems like Call of Duty is the premier competitive online first-person shooter, right? There are tons of them, but really Call of Duty is the one annual release. Everyone buys it. Everyone talks about it. Everyone plays it without exception. While other ones falter, like Battlefield, right? Halo. They try. They step up to the plate. They have a moment in the sun, and then they fade away right away. Call of Duty persists. And I don't know. I mean, would I love to see something new of the franchise? Sure, I would. Some of the times they tried it, though, they failed. Double jumping, wall running. That stuff's terrible. Some of the worst first-person gameplay I've ever seen from Call of Duty were some of those iterations where they just made the game a laughable joke with that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the franchise, but they're certainly not doing anything to innovate recently, that's for sure. Okay. All right, guys, I think it's time to adjourn the show. I thank you very much for a nice, chill show today. Happy Memorial Day one final time to those who are celebrating it here in the States. I'm happy you're all here to hang out with me today, and thanks for watching. Even those on demand, thanks a lot. Now, Street Fighter 6 is right around the corner. I hope you guys are gearing up for fighting game fun starting this Friday and throughout the whole week and a couple of weeks here that it comes out. You're going to see a lot of competitive fighting game stuff on my channel, as well as possibly the single-player mode as well, if it's any good. I hope that you guys are ready for the festivities and fun coming up later on this week. I thank you all for your support, and thanks for watching the show. See you next time.